Okay, now I'm going to show you how to do what's called an appraisal. An appraisal just basically means that we're going to figure out whatever phone that we're going to buy, what it's going to sell for. Or maybe it's not a phone, maybe it's a laptop, it's a smartwatch, or any kind of electronic. But we're going to go over to some of my current orders here. It's my personal eBay sales. Again, I showed you this in some of the previous videos. Oops, this is awaiting shipment. There we go. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out a variety of items here that we just recently sold. So you can see, we'll know for sure what I was going to get because I actually sold it. We'll see what I paid for it, and then I'm going to show you how to search on eBay to find out exactly what they're selling for before you buy, so you know how to make an accurate offer on that you'll make a profit at. Okay, so for example, let's see if I can start off with a nice easy one here. Here's an iPhone X. Now we sold this for $969.95. Let me see what we paid for it. We paid $650. Now we kind of overpaid on it a little bit, but still ended up making a nice $200 profit. But the purpose of this is to do an appraisal. So I'm not going to get sidetracked too much. Let's just worry about the appraisal part. So what we're going to do, if someone calls you up and they say, hey, I have an iPhone X I'd like to sell you. We're going to go over here to ebay.com. Now, you got to have yourself an eBay account. You probably have this set up already. If you don't, just make sure you go register on eBay. It's completely free. You're going to type in iPhone X. We don't need this Apple here. We just need iPhone X. It does help to get the gigabyte. So let's say iPhone X, 256 gigabyte. We don't need the color. We just need the model, Verizon, gigabytes, and the phone. And I'm always, when I'm looking for phones, going to type in smartphone. Now, this obviously doesn't apply when you're typing in tablets or iPads and things of that nature. But for phones, if we don't type in smartphone, we're going to get a bunch of accessories. I'll give you a little more advanced tips as we go. So just basic. iPhone X, 256 gigabytes, Verizon smartphone. And we're going to go here to the left-hand side, and we're going to click on sold listings. Now, whenever we do an appraisal, we only go by what people are actually paying, not what they're listed for. See, if I go back to the normal, see these prices in black here means that those phones were basically listed at that price. We don't want to go by those prices because basically they could say any price. You could ask $1 million for the phone, but it doesn't mean people are going to really pay it, right? Does that make sense? So we want to go only by what people are actually paying for items to be safe. So let's take a look here. Now this one sold for $12.49, but now here's some key appraisal principles. Now I went to school to be a real estate appraiser actually about 9 years ago, and I'm going to teach you some of the things that I learned in real estate school. One of the things they teach you whenever you're appraising something is you need to find 3 comparables. Now a comparable is what's an apples to apples comparison of the exact item that you're looking for. So what we want to do is find an iPhone X, 256 gigabytes Verizon smartphone. Now, let's just assume, to make this easy, that this phone is in decent condition. Maybe has a couple light scratches or something like that, but that's about it, right? We can't use these because these are new. These ones right here, these are brand new in box. That's a different condition. It's not an apples to apples comparison because when it's brand new sealed, it's different than if somebody already used it. There's a different feeling, a different emotional experience for the buyer. So those are a little higher, okay? So here's one here, $9.99. But I don't know if that's new or not. Sometimes you're going to have to click on the listings and read. No, that says new, so we're not going to use that one either. Okay, don't be afraid to click on these and make sure. All right, and if you want to simplify this, you want to get rid of the new, just click on used here on the left. Because this, at the time shooting this video, the iPhone X is brand new. It just came out not too long ago. So there's going to be a lot of new ones. You can click on used to make this search a little easier. So let's take a look. We got one for $1,100. This sold one for $12.40, but this one's got a Zag, which is a really expensive screen cover, and an OtterBox, which is like a $100 case. I don't want to use that one because that's not really an apples to apples comparison. Now this one looks like it is. This one that sold for $1,100. That's an apples to apples comparison. So let's look at another one. Now these higher priced phones, they're so high priced that the price can actually fluctuate between $50 to $100 per sale because of the price range. Now, when you're dealing with, let's say, a $100 phone, it's only going to fluctuate by $5 or $10. Here's one for, let's say, $1,035. Okay, so we can use that. That looks like an apples-to-apples comparison. Here's one for $1,100. Okay, so if we take one for $1,100, one for $1,050, and one for $1,100, we're probably going to get about $1,000, $1,050. Now, wait a minute. It only sold for $969. What happened here? Well, what happened in this situation is sometimes there's slow periods on eBay, and I like to sell my stuff real fast within a day or two. So I might have probably sold this faster than I probably should have and dropped the price too quick maybe. And I sold it for a little bit less. But in the grand scheme of things, I only paid $650 for it. So if I'm selling it for like maybe $30 or $60 less than what it would have maybe if I just waited a week, I don't care. I want to rotate my money fast. That's more important to me because if the price drops a week from now, I'm going to lose anyways. I'd rather get it out the door. If that makes sense. And sometimes there's just weeks where eBay's a tiny bit slower. But if you appraise properly and you buy right, you'll never really have to worry about it. So let's just backtrack because I just gave you a whole bunch of information all at once. So you're going to go to ebay.com. You're going to search for a phone, iPhone X 256 gigabyte Verizon. You're going to type in whatever phone. If it was something else, let's just say it's an iPhone 7 for Verizon. And let's say maybe it's a 64 gigabyte. I don't even know if they made a 64 gigabyte. We'll find out in a second. Yep, it looks like they did that. Now that's a 7 Plus. So see, we couldn't use this here because that's a plus. So one thing when you're appraising, you want to be really careful of is to watch out for these little words that are going to throw you off, like unlocked or plus. Like a Galaxy Edge. Like my phone is a Galaxy S Plus. I'm sorry, an S8 Plus, but it's not an S8 Edge Plus, but it's an S8 Plus. But if I was trying to figure out what I was going to sell, I would just type in Galaxy S8, but I don't want to look at the Plus because those sell higher. Hope I'm not confusing you. Let's do another one. Let's pick another item from my recent solds, and then I'll go over that one. So let's pick out this one here, an iPhone 5C for Verizon here. Okay, this one sold for $54.95. Let's go to iPhone 5C for Verizon smartphone. And how many gigabytes was that? That was a 8 gigabytes. So we're going to go to 8 gigabytes. Now, this is a pretty old phone. Even at the time of this shooting, it's still old. That's where we didn't get a lot for it. Well, let's take a look. Okay, so this is a pre-owned one. There was no cracks or anything. Let me just look at the listing really quick. Just light scratches. That's it. So we can use that. That's 50. This one sold for $69.95. This one sold for $46. So there's a little range there. This one's $59.99. And what did I sell for? $54.95. So about right on the money there. I would say this phone will probably sell between 50 or 60 bucks, and it sold for 55. So, on this one, you're not going to pay a lot. I paid like $5 for this phone, 5 or 10 bucks, and that's it. That's the most I'll pay for a phone in that range. And we'll get into that more with the negotiation section. Okay, but I just want you to get really good at appraising. See, if you can nail this right on the money, like if I can figure out this phone's worth $50 or $60, I can be very accurate with what I pay. And especially with this such lower price range, you got to be really accurate, because if not, it's not worth buying, right? Because let's say if I appraise this phone at only $30, if I appraise this phone, let's say at $80 or $90, and I paid, let's say $45 for it, well, then I would have overpaid, and now I would be in the negative on this phone, if that makes sense. Okay. So again, the rules for appraising: got to find 3 like items, apples to apples. It can't be a 16 gig. It's got to be an 8 gig. The color doesn't really matter. Color, it's okay. That's fine. But the condition's got to be the same. Can't be cracked. It's got to be, it's got to be good condition or whatever. Let's pick one more, and I'll do a little bit more advanced. And then in these next videos, I'm going to show you more and more real advanced stuff, like how to appraise damaged items, how to appraise cracked items, maybe even how to do like laptops and things like that. So let's do a Sprint one. This one has a bad ESN. So that's an 8 plus 64 gigabyte for Sprint bad ESN. I got to make sure I type in bad ESN. So iPhone 8 plus 64 gigabyte. I'm going to type Sprint bad ESN. Very important. I type that in. Now, when you're searching, you don't want to add any extra things. You don't want to type good condition, because if you do, it's not going to show up. Nothing shows up for that, right? Because people aren't going to put good condition in the title usually. You want to put only the keywords that you need. Very important. Only the keywords you need. iPhone 8 plus 64 gigabyte Sprint bad ESN smartphone. And let's see. So this one sold. This is mint. And let's get the box and everything. I don't like that. Here's one that sold for $470. This one only sold for $400. Is there something wrong with this? Let's take a look and see. They're all going to say parts not working because it's a bad ESN. It has a spiderweb crack, so we can't use that. I just saw the word spiderweb crack, so we can't use that one because that's not apples to apples, right? So this one's $470. That one's good. This one's good. $459. I think that actually might be me. Is it? Nope, that's not me. Okay, but either way, so $459, $470. Here's another one for 450. That one I think is me. Yep, that's me. So ours sold on the low end. I would appraise this phone at about 460. Now we ended up getting, oh no, actually we got 469.95. You see, sometimes the market fluctuates by a few dollars, but it's okay either way because let's look at what we paid for that phone. As long as you buy right, you can never go wrong, right? We paid 280. So either way, I'm gonna win big on that deal. I mean, that's at least $150 profit, I think, even after fees, I'm going to make on that. So even if it sells $5, $10 from where I appraised, I'm still good. So appraisal is not really an exact science. It's an art, guys. You're just trying to get as close to the bullseye as possible. The closer you get, the more money you make. All right. So one of the keys I say to phone flipping, if you've watched that video, is to be able to appraise a phone in 30 seconds. The better you get at this, the more confident you're going to be when you take that phone call and someone calls you up to offer a phone, more confident you're going to be in offering a price that's going to make you some good money. All right. So these are the basics of appraisal for you. Now, in the next videos, I'm going to get into a little bit more advanced stuff like how to appraise damaged things and things of that nature.